YouTube, my Philadelphia 76ers have officially been eliminated from the 2024 NBA playoffs. In Game 6 at home by the New York Knicks, the Sixers lose 118 to 115, crushing the hopes of me and my fan base, as well as the 76ers players and team in general, of competing for a championship in 2024. In this video, I just want to break down, how I feel about the, Sixers being eliminated. Obviously, I want them to still be in the playoffs, but what do I feel about the season as a whole and, everything moving forward, as well as their performance in the playoffs? Because we know at times in the past it has been spotty at best, whether or not they're going to show up and play their best. So I'm going to get into all of that in this video. I got to talk about it, folks. So as I alluded to before, the Sixers have a track record, especially in this process Embiid era, of choking away playoff series and games. And a lot of people thought, including myself, going into this year that, something similar would happen, right? And we would choke and we would lose, and history would just repeat like it always does for the Sixers in the playoffs this year. However, I don't see that as having been the case in this series to the Knicks. Now, you can definitely point to things throughout the series that, the Sixers could have done better. Obviously, they lost the series and a lot of the games are close. So there's things they could have done better. But I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't view this as a choke job. And not only do I not view it as a choke job, I think this is some progress and improvement by the Sixers as a whole with the Embiid-led, era, like I said. I personally believe, and I would be the first one to admit a choke job because, I've seen them happen year after year and I've been very critical. And last year and the year before, the James Harden years were absolutely, full choke artistry on display, as well as the Ben Simmons years as well. So there's plenty of choking that has been done by Embiid and the Sixers throughout the process era, like I said, but I'm going to reiterate what I said on Twitter. Make sure you guys follow my Twitter if you guys haven't already, Twitter or x.com/dehave1. The New York Knicks right now are just a better team than the Sixers. And I got to be honest, it is so refreshing, even though I'm still upset about the loss. I want to, keep watching the Sixers in the playoffs. I want them to do the best they can, but the Knicks are just a better team, right? And that's something that, we haven't seen from the Sixers just losing to a better team. We've seen them have so many opportunities to win in the playoffs and end up just, blowing leads and stuff like that and just disappearing when it matters, right? I don't see that as the case this season and in this series. I think the Knicks played the best they could, the Sixers played the best they could, and we got the result that would have happened either way, right? I think the Knicks deserve a lot of credit, and I'm going to give it to them in this video because there's a lot of hostility between Sixers fans and Knicks fans. I get it, it's a new rivalry and stuff like that, and it's fun to take part in from time to time, but, New York Knicks, they're just a better team than us. Embiid isn't fully healthy, and if he was, then maybe you could make a case that we're a little better than them, but regardless of that, we have what we have right now, and the Knicks deserve to win this series. That's just the way it is. It's unfortunate for me and my, fan base, but I would much rather lose to a better team, having the Sixers played their best, than for us to choke or, get cheated or whatever. So I am totally at peace with this loss. You know what I mean? The Sixers battled every minute of this series, like I said on Twitter. Every single minute that went by in this series, I did not have to question anyone's effort. I did not have to question anyone's willingness to do what it takes to win. I did not have to question the competitiveness and the wanting it more factor of this team, right? They came out and gave it everything they had every minute in this series, and that goes from top to bottom, from the coaching to the owners even buying tickets to, all of the players on this team. I can confidently say the Sixers gave it everything they have, and that is not something I could have said a couple of years ago or even last year in the playoffs. They just didn't quit, you know what I mean? That's all you can really ask for from your team, is just try to play their best, do their best in a 7-game series, and that way you don't leave anything on the floor, you don't leave anything on the table, and you just end up losing to a better team if you do lose, right? And the Knicks are a better team than the Sixers, and that became very clear to me later in the series. I do think it was a close matchup. It was a really great series, one of the best Sixers playoff series I've ever seen. But like I said, my team competed from start to finish of this series, and I gotta say, I'm just so proud of them. You know what I mean? There's a lot to be hopeful for if you're a Sixers fan. I mean, the offseason is going to be insane because the Sixers have the most cap space of anyone that is a real contender in, either conference. So the Sixers are going to be able to have max money to sign a max player in free agency, which is a topic for a different video. But like I said, there's a ton to be hopeful about moving forward. And I think there's, a 99% chance that the Sixers are 50% better than they are right now next season, roster wise, right? I think, we're in great shape flexibility wise, Daryl Morey, to be able to get this roster where it needs to be, get some extra firepower offensively other than Embiid and Maxey. And, that's really what the Sixers lack, in my opinion, is that, clear third option who can carry the offense. When those guys are tired or out or injured, they can step up and carry some of that burden offensively. That's what the Sixers need. But like I said, everyone in this series competed. So I got to give major props to the Sixers and the Knicks. And like I said, the Knicks are just the better team, man. They just are. I know Sixers fans don't want to admit that, but I will on behalf of everyone, right? We lost to a better team and I feel okay with it. I don't obviously want the Sixers to be eliminated. And the biggest thing I'm upset about is just that I want won't get to see Sixers basketball for another 6 months or so. So that's what I'm upset about. But like I said, everyone in this organization did their best. Everyone gave it all they had. I don't have to question anyone's integrity or how much they wanted it, or just all this drama stuff that we always have in the Sixers organization. I don't have to feel like that this year, and that's something I can really be okay with. And now I can just enjoy the rest of the playoffs from a non-biased perspective. That's kind of freeing in a way as well. So Sixers fans, keep your head up, man. Like, there's no need to be hostile towards Knicks fans anymore, right? Like, if they do it, fine, defend your team. But like, series is over and we just lost to a better team. We'll regroup and rebuild and get them next year, because I think there's a real shot by the time the next season starts, we're going to be right up there with the Celtics in terms of roster wise. So it's going to be scary next year. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what Daryl Morey's got planned or what he thinks he can do, but we're going to do something. We have so many draft picks and assets to trade. And like I said, the most money of any contender, really. So we're going to have our basically pick of the litter in free agency. So it's just going to be awesome free agency and off-season stuff. So make sure you guys stick around on the channel for that, because I really want to cover that in the off-season. I'm a diehard Sixers fan, like I said, have been all my life that I've been watching basketball. And so, for me, the Sixers losing is usually a terrible thing. And I go through this process of hating the team, loving the team throughout the off-season, and, hating certain players and loving certain players. I don't have to do that this year, man. Embiid, I know he had some, rough moments in the series, but he also had some great moments in the series. And last night in particular, he played really, really well from start to finish. And I didn't have to question, is he just not showing up in a closeout game? Like, I really think Nick Nurse has had such a positive effect on some of these players. And just like the way this team competed, like, that's just something I haven't seen from the Sixers in Embiid's era, right? Like, usually the Sixers give up when it gets tough, and, they hang their heads and they make excuses, and they already start thinking about excuses before the game even ends, right? That is not what I saw. And that is why it is refreshing to me to lose a series and be like totally okay with it, because it's like, just from a basketball perspective, we lost to a better team. Brunson at the end of that game went on an absolute heater, right? And like, he just was the best player in that series, you know what I mean? And I think, next year we're gonna have a way better opportunity. We were never, gonna beat Boston or probably even Indiana in this playoffs anyway. So it's just, at the end of the day, I'm just proud of the team, that I root for. And that's something I usually can't say at the end of a season. So I'm hopeful for the future, probably more hopeful than I've been. If you guys have followed my channel since I've been doing basketball content, you would know that going into this season, I was super pessimistic about, the Sixers direction and, their moves they were going to have to make, because the James Harden thing really put us in a big time bind. So props to everyone involved in this, season. Nick Nurse, like I said, has been the most refreshing thing I've seen in the process era. I mean, he is just amazing, way better coach than I thought even going into the season. And I had a pretty high regard in terms of what I thought about Nick Nurse coming into the season. I already thought he was going to be a great fit, and I already thought he was a great coach, but I actually have more great things to say about him than I thought I would, which is insane, because like I said, I held him to a high standard. He has basically flipped the energy and culture of this team around in one season, in my opinion. You could see a lot of signs of these guys willing to, everyone bought in, it feels like, and the just energy of the team is just so different this year, and it's so refreshing to see that, like I said. So I would encourage any Sixers fans watching this video to remain loyal, remain, optimistic for the future. And like I said, that's not something we can usually say. I'm not, trying to be overly positive or anything. I'm just calling it how I see it. And I think it's really free to me in a way as a Sixers fan to look at it this way, because there's two ways you could look at this season, right? And there's two ways you could look at this playoff series. And, there is one way that a lot of fans I think are going to look at it, which is like, the refs are New York bias and, New York rivalry and stuff like that. And they're going to get so mad, and it's just bad for you, man. It's bad for your mental health. So let it go. The season's over regardless of how you feel. And it does feel different if you just take a step back and realize what actually happened in this series. I know it's easy to get wrapped up in toxicity and hatred for another team, right? And fan base or whatever, but just take a step back, really, objectively observe the team and how this series went. You'll, I would think, come to the conclusion that the Knicks are just a better team. They're going to win either way. And we were not going to beat Indiana, and we were not going to beat Boston, and we were not going to beat whoever comes out of the West. So just relax, Sixers fans, subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be covering a lot of Sixers stuff. Obviously, one of the, cornerstones and foundations of this channel. I mostly do, just like broad NBA stuff, and I'm just a basketball fan first, but my Sixers fandom is a massive part of this channel. So make sure you guys subscribe if you are Sixers fans. Like I said, I would encourage any fan or, Sixers fan after last night and, game 6 of this playoffs to just appreciate the energy and, culture that is shifting in this organization for the much more positive, like I said, with Nick Nurse and Daryl Morey really at the top of their game. Nick Nurse coached at a high level this year, in my opinion, really turned the energy of this team around, and Daryl Morey has made so many great moves in terms of where he started in, this this team in 2020 to where we are now. Like, he has just kept us relevant and kept us hopeful. And like I said, I think Daryl Morey has done one of the better jobs in the NBA as far as an executive over the past 5 years or so, or 4 years, whatever, how long he's been here. But he's made some questionable decisions. But like I said, I really do trust him at the end of the day, 90% of the time, because for us to be where we are roster wise right now, and with the options we're going to have this year from where he took us over, like I said, it is a night and day difference. So gotta respect Daryl Morey. Knicks fans, if you're watching this video, congratulations. I have no more hostility towards you until probably next season, but good luck in the playoffs. This is what competition's all about. You guys are a better team, you beat us, and that's the end of it. It doesn't have to be a whole big thing anymore, right? It's just unnecessary at this point to be toxic about it. So I'm moving on. I know you guys are too, and moving on to the second round, and we're not, but Knicks earned it, we didn't. That's just how it goes. They're a better team. Sixers fans are watching this. I think we should wish the Knicks fans luck, because like I said, it's just no reason to be hostile anyway. It's just bad for us. It makes us not feel good to be like aggressive and unnecessarily toxic to other people. So Knicks fans, part of me, like I said, the Sixers fan part of me still doesn't like your team, right? But the basketball enjoyer in me and the attempt to be a genuine fan in me is wishing you luck. And I just want every team to play their best, right? I want the best outcome and best series we can get, no matter what series it is, no matter what my Sixers level of involvement is. So recognize that there's a new rivalry, and that's fun, but also recognize when you lose fair and square, and that's what happened in this series. And I hope you guys enjoyed the ride as much as I did, right? Hopefully, I'm praying for Embiid's health. Hopefully he can make it to the Paris Olympics and come back fully healthy next season and ready to dominate like he was this year. And I'm sure he will, man. That's our king. That's our guy. Tyrese Maxey, max extension for his restricted contract, and hopefully we can land another star. That's something for a different video. I'm gonna be covering that. But like I said, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys don't want to miss any more videos like this. I just have covered this whole Sixers saga the entire season, and thought it'd be a good way to wrap it up as far as the playoffs go, to make this video and keep you updated on kind of where I'm at for the people that care. But stay tuned for more playoff updates. I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff with that, and probably at least daily uploads, sometimes double. So make sure you guys subscribe if you don't want to miss that. Drop a like on the video if you guys did enjoy it. Really helps out the channel and helps new people find the video. So if you did enjoy it, spread it to everybody you can. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day today, and hopefully your favorite NBA team wins their next game. My favorite team is the Sixers, so our next game won't be until, like I said, probably 6 months from now. But hey, I hope we win that game. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next video. This is your boy D Haven, as always. Peace.